Hello, passionate Wrexham fans. How are you? Is everything okay over there? Get comfortable, because today's news is one that will touch the hearts of fans. Wrexham AFC is preparing to sign a great player from Manchester United. Yes, you heard right. So stay with me until the end, because I'm going to tell you everything in great detail. But first, do this smart combo. Subscribe to the channel, like it, and help us reach the goal of 1,000 subscribers. That way you won't miss anything about our Red Dragons. But wait, before I talk about the possible arrival of this United star, let me update you on some important news that is also causing a stir in Wrexham. For those who love football and good stories, Disney Plus has brought a new feature that will excite fans. The series, Welcome to Wrexham, starring none other than Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds, has just been renewed for a 5th season. And look how incredible! This new phase will show Wrexham's debut in the EFL Championship, after a historic sequence of 3 consecutive promotions. A true football fairy tale. In the meantime, the episodes of the 4th season continue to be released every Friday on Disney Plus in Latin America, and continue to thrill with a narrative of overcoming, passion, and a lot of love for the club. And it doesn't stop there. Another FX production is coming with the participation of Eva Longoria, who joins Rob and Ryan in a new project, Necaxa, In Search of the Top. This series will follow behind the scenes of Club Necaxa, from Mexico, and the team's entire struggle to return to prominence in Liga MX. It has it all: changes in coaching, injuries, behind-the-scenes decisions, and, of course, that special touch that only football lovers understand. The series promises to show everything in a human and exciting way, highlighting the strength of Aguascalientes fans and the challenges of a team with so much tradition. According to FX Entertainment president Nick Grad, the goal is to repeat the magic that happened with Wrexham. Now, with Eva alongside Rob and Ryan, we want to tell another story of faith and rebuilding. What we saw in Wrexham was magical, and we want to see that same spirit in Mexico with Club Necaxa. And look, if this new series is half as good as Welcome to Wrexham is, it will be worth watching. But wait, because now, let's talk about the possible reinforcement coming from Manchester United. Do you want to know who he is, what's going on behind the scenes, and why this signing could be a game-changer for Wrexham? So stay with me, because the next part of the video will get you even more excited. And if there is a fan base that knows firsthand what it means to gain promotion to the National League, that fan base is Wrexham, isn't it? Seriously, fan. Ask any fan of our club what the most significant promotion of recent times was. The answer will be unanimous: the one in 2023, when we finally left the National League behind. More than moving up from League 2 or League 1, that moment had a huge emotional weight. We didn't just move up a division, we freed ourselves. After 15 years stuck in the National League, that victory had a special taste, especially because it came right after the pain of the playoff defeat against Grimsby Town. It was a mix of pure joy and a relief that only those who have experienced it know what it was like. And this weekend, the team that experienced something similar was Oldham Athletic. On Sunday, Mickey Mellon's team beat Southend United 3-2 at Wembley, coming from behind to secure their long-awaited return to League 2. Just imagine, they went down 1-0, then 2-1, and still came back. What a journey! It's true that Oldham didn't spend as much time in the National League as we did, but this achievement is of enormous value to their fans, who also dream of being a protagonist in English football again. And look how curious it is. The person who sent a congratulatory message to the owner of Oldham was none other than Rob McElhenney. That's right. Even after some jabs in the past, Rob showed class and sent a message to Frank Rothwell, the owner of Oldham, celebrating their promotion. But there's a funny detail. Rothwell didn't even know who Rob or Ryan Reynolds were when they took over at Wrexham. Can you believe it? He even said in an interview that he thought Rob was a butcher, not a movie star. He told BBC Sport that he only found out who McElhenney was after he saw a TikTok with a challenge made by Rob himself. By the way, do you remember that game against Oldham in the FA Cup in 2022? That's right, that day, with Wrexham winning 3-0, the fans started chanting, "Frankie, Frankie, what's the score?" And Rothwell admitted, he was upset, he felt hurt by that. But life goes on, and look where Oldham are now. Now, they want to follow in our footsteps. Wrexham's 3 consecutive promotions are something you rarely see in football, even more so without the support of 2 giants like Rob and Ryan. But Oldham want to try. It's worth remembering that they spent 21 years in League One before being relegated, and now they dream of returning to the top. Will it be easy? Of course not. But the most important thing they have: passion, courage, and a history to rewrite. And look, you can bet that Rob will be watching. Now tell me in the comments, do you think Oldham has what it takes to repeat Wrexham's trajectory? Or is what our club has done in the last 3 years something that will be difficult to repeat? I'm curious to know your opinion. Comment below and let's continue this conversation. Now hold on tight. Wrexham is going to undergo a major overhaul of its squad, and big names are leaving. That's right, the club is letting go of 8 players this month, including well-known figures among fans, such as Stephen Fletcher and Mark Howard, who will not have their contracts renewed. So, fans, were you expecting this? Do you think the club is doing the right thing, or is it risky to let go of so many experienced players all at once? Comment below, because we want to know what you think. But it doesn't stop there. In addition to these 8 names already confirmed, other players may also be leaving the racecourse ground this summer. Manager Phil Parkinson has already made it clear that the aim is to trim the squad, which currently has 27 players, to make room and bring more balance to the group. And now, we have a clearer view of who could be the next to leave, and there's a surprise on the list. 2 names that made history with Wrexham, Paul Mullen and Ollie Palmer, are being mentioned as possible departures for 2025. That's right, you heard it right. These 2 legendary strikers, who have a history with us, could soon leave the club. In fact, Wigan Athletic are reportedly interested in Mullen, especially after the club had difficulty signing Sam Dalby, who is also being targeted by Bolton Wanderers. So, fans, can you imagine Wrexham without Mullen and Palmer? These are names that represent a glorious phase for the club, but have they had their day? Let's talk in the comments. And according to a report from The Athletic, 2 more players are expected to lead this summer exit. Defender Will Boyle and right-back Luke Bolton. Both have faced injuries, lack of space, and very little playing time in the 2024-25 season. Parkinson himself has praised Boyle, calling him excellent this year, but the truth is that he hasn't even played in League One. With the club being linked with several names for the back 4, it makes sense that changes are happening there. The mood at Wrexham is one of restructuring, and when that happens, departures are inevitable. But will these departures strengthen the squad or leave gaps that are hard to fill? Now hold on to this, fans. If you thought that the big names linked to Wrexham would stop there, think again. There's another bombshell coming, and this time, straight from Old Trafford. After the rumors involving Johnny Evans, who is set to retire at the end of his contract, Christian Eriksen's name has now emerged as a possible reinforcement for Wrexham. That's right, you heard it. Answer me in the comments. Can you imagine Eriksen playing for Wrexham? Would it be absurd, or totally possible with Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney in charge? Tim, from the Fearless in Devotion podcast, came up with this. He said that coach Phil Parkinson would be interested in bringing in Eriksen. And he added, the Dane's profile, an experienced player with experience, matches the type of reinforcement that Wrexham is looking for. But calm down, fans, because he also put the brakes on his excitement. We're talking about Wrexham, anything can happen, but his salary is very high. And it's no wonder. Today Wrexham's highest paid player, Jay Rodriguez, earns £15,000 per week. As for Eriksen, well, he's pocketing £150,000 per week at Manchester United. That's more than £7.8 million per year. Not bad, right? Even with Wrexham planning to quadruple their salary budget in the Championship, can they afford a star of his caliber? Or would it be crazy to pay so much for a player, no matter how talented he is? I want to know your opinion. Comment below, because this conversation is just beginning. And of course, if you like this type of content, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell, because here we are always keeping an eye on the hottest news from Wrexham. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.